Why do some backyard pools last over 50 years, while others start cracking after just a decade? It has almost nothing to do with the water. The secret is buried underground. Building a high-end American swimming pool is more like building a bunker than digging a hole. Everything starts with excavation. Workers carve out the exact shape of the pool before installing a massive grid of steel rebar. Think of it as the pool's skeleton. Once the pool is filled, the water can weigh well over 100,000 pounds. Without that steel frame spreading the load, the concrete could eventually crack under the constant pressure. But here's where things get even more interesting. Instead of simply pouring concrete, many builders use a process called shotcrete. A high-pressure hose blasts concrete onto the steel framework at incredible speed, packing every layer tightly into place. That creates a much stronger bond than traditional poured concrete and leaves far fewer weak spots. Even after the concrete hardens, the job isn't finished. Workers still apply waterproof membranes and a protective finish. That final layer does more than make the pool look smooth and crystal clear. It shields the concrete from water, pool chemicals, and years of blazing sun. That's why a properly built American pool isn't just made to look good. It's built to survive for generations. Why doesn't laser cutting look violent? No shower of sparks, no screaming saw blade, just a beam of light gliding across a sheet of steel. And moments later, the metal is perfectly cut. The edges come out so smooth, they often need little to no finishing. So most people assume the answer is simple. Just use a more powerful laser. But that's exactly where intuition fails. If the laser is too powerful, it can scorch the metal, leave rough edges, or even ruin the entry point before the cut has really begun. The result is actually less precise, not more. So engineers split the job into two separate tasks. First, the laser does one thing. It melts the metal. A tightly focused beam follows the cutting path, heating only a paper-thin line until the steel turns molten. But here's the part most people never think about. Molten metal doesn't magically disappear. If it stays in the cut, it quickly cools, hardens, and leaves behind burrs and rough slag. That's why the cutting head fires a high-speed stream of gas at the exact same time. The gas travels alongside the laser, instantly blasting the molten metal out of the cut before it has a chance to solidify. The cleaner the molten metal is removed, the cleaner the cut becomes. So precision isn't about using more power. It's about putting every bit of energy exactly where it belongs. What if I told you one of the biggest wedding cakes you've ever seen isn't actually a cake? Sounds like a scam, but it's completely intentional. Most people assume those massive 10-tier wedding cakes are filled with nothing but cake and frosting. They're not. In many cases, most of what you're looking at is foam. The only real cake might be a single section hidden inside. So why would anyone pay for a fake cake on purpose? Because a fully edible cake that size can easily cost thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. By the time you add all the flour, eggs, butter, cream, decorations, and hours of labor, the price skyrockets. And here's the thing, most guests only eat one slice anyway, so couples would rather spend that money somewhere else. There's another reason most people never think about. Huge cakes are incredibly difficult to transport. They're heavy, fragile, and on a hot summer day, they can literally start leaning or collapse before the reception even begins. That's why many wedding cakes are actually display cakes. Before the ceremony, the baker removes a small section of foam and replaces it with a real piece of cake. They even mark the exact spot so the couple knows where to make the first cut. To everyone watching, it looks like they're slicing through the entire cake. But the illusion is so convincing that almost nobody notices. Sometimes the most expensive looking part of a wedding isn't fake to fool people.